Hey, welcome to Trading the Markets backtesting section. Just testing out some strategies. And what we want to do is just go back in the past and test out our strategies and see how they play out. And that way we can keep sharpening our skills and know how effective our strategies are. You know, the market doesn't have to be open for you to test yourself. So like this is a stock I've been playing rig. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back in time and I'm gonna test out the strategy. So there's this little calendar right here, and you can like pick a date that you want to go back to. So let's just say January, the, January 2003, and then you can go to it. Sorry. First thing you gotta hide. So this eyeball allows you to hide the candles and like basically hide. So you want to hide everything first, and then you want to go back in time, and then you want to let the candles reappear and cut it off on that date, then play it out from there. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I hid the candles, and then now I went back in time, and then now I hit this replay button, and right there was the January 29th, right there. So now it's 2003, as you can see right here. So we're back in time. Open up the eyeball. Now the candles are where the candles were back then. So now without knowing what's going to happen, I can trade from like market conditions, and that randomness and that my strategies will play out. So if I'm looking at this right now, I can already see, you know, like we're on a downtrend. So like basically, well, let me show you where these lines came from. So, right. So this line, right? So so basically the lines appeared from the past. So what we're looking for is the trend. So can anybody tell me what trend are we on? Anybody sees it already? I don't know.
It looks like it's starting to make higher. It's going to start bouncing up a little bit, making higher highs and higher lows, and maybe reversing possibly.
Okay. But if you start from here, what would you say, what trend are we on? Start from right here, what you can see on the chart. From what you can see.
We're with a downtrend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from what you see, it's a downtrend. You know, you can always go back far enough and you'll see more. If you go back far enough, 1994, you see that we're really on a long-term uptrend. You know what I mean? But you know, as you zoom in and zoom out, you get to see how inside of the trend there's a lot of mini trends. There's a lot of micro trends inside of the macro trend. So now we're here. We're on more recent time. You know, 2003. So we see that we're on a downtrend, like as of right here. If I like zoom into the year, right? So now what I want to do is I want to start to box in the price to find out what is the path of least resistance. That's all. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm looking, what is the path of least resistance? So, you know, like right here, I can say, okay, I see downtrend from here, right? It's a downtrend, right? Because it's making lower highs and lower lows, right? Up until this point, but then you see we're actually making higher lows. So on one hand, we're making lower highs, downtrend. On the other hand, we're making higher lows, which signals the uptrend. And this pattern right here is called a triangle because basically they meet at an inflection point where they're gonna make a decision on who's gonna actually take it. And all I'm doing when I draw these lines, I'm just connecting the bottoms, and I'm trying to get like the most amount of touches, you know. But I could draw it like however. So all I'm doing is I'm trying to box in the price, and I'm seeing which line is it gonna respect. So in this type of scenario, notice that as it approaches the apex, it's gonna make a big move. And that's one thing you need to notice about the path of the stocks is like as it gets tighter and tighter. So now I'm testing out my strategy, right? So what I'm testing out is to see like which way is it gonna go based off of what line it reacts off of. Does that make sense to you guys? I don't know which way it's gonna go, but I know that this line has been the floor, it's been holding up, and that line has been the ceiling. So as the walls start closing in, it's gonna pick a side. So I'm gonna wait for it to hit one of those lines before I decide which way it's gonna go. But I'm ready to play both ways, you know. So what's cool is you can put a position on the chart. So for example, if to play to the downside, if it breaks down, like if it breaks underneath, I'll say like right here, if it breaks down under a certain level of support, I could play the downside, right? But if it breaks above the resistance, I could play the upside. But I don't know which way. I don't know which way. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wait to see if it's gonna react to one of my levels. Okay, so look, so you guys see that right there? This is what happened the next day. It bounced off this line. So to me, it's showing me, okay, it's already reacting off of this line. That means that if one thing I know, there's buyers right here. So another strategy that I use is supply and demand. So supply and demand is like when you find areas of consolidation where there's past buyers and sellers. So I know that right here is an area of consolidation, and I know that it made a big move. So that means that there's buyers at this level, and they're really defending that level. So I could draw a little box, and I could say, if it comes down here, I could probably buy. Like I'll probably like stay up to here. You know, this could be my buy zone potentially for a buy, right? But it has to bounce off of that the same way this is bouncing off of that. But I already missed this move, so I have to be patient. So what I can do is um put a position like so right here on the left. You can do a fake trade while the market's open. So this is how we're gonna back test, and we're gonna see how I trade. So I put my stop loss right under here. I'll put my take profit up here because I'm targeting these highs. Now notice on this trade, right? Like I'm not in this trade yet. It needs to come down here first before I enter the trade. So the strategies that I'm testing out is one, like so like there's a bunch of different strategies and tools. Some of them might not be strategies on their own, but so like where is it? I had a list of what I was going over. Where is it? All right. So break and retest is a strategy, but I really feel so for this one, I want to focus on the supply and demand zone. Like that's the one I told you guys. So I'm doing this one. Let me highlight it just to make it easier. So we're doing supply and demand zones. I'm doing the pullback low ball strategy that I do, where I try to wait for it to come back before I enter. And I'm doing the supply and demand zones. So these are the strategies that I'm testing out right now. Supply and demand zone, support and resistance, pullback, and I think that's really it. That's really it right now. So going back to the chart. So this is me making a plan of how I can enter the market. If the market don't come back down here, I never get in the trade. You guys follow me? So we're gonna let it play out. And like if it goes under here, if it goes under this box, I'm out of the trade and I lose it. And I lose this trade. But I'm risking 0.41 to make 126. I'm risking a 3-to-1 ratio. So what I can make is 3 times what I'm risking to lose. Does that make sense to you guys? Now let me just like let it play out. Like let's see what happens, you know? So you guys see? So look, you guys see this? I'm not in the trade. I'm not in the trade. I don't get into this trade until it comes down to 1688. And that's why you got to be okay with letting it happen, letting it play out. So just let it play out. Let it play out. All this time, I'm not in the trade. Just so you guys know, I'm not in the trade. But I'm watching it, and some people might feel some type of way, like, oh man, I knew it was gonna go up. Why did I get in? Well, we have a plan because you can't just get in. You have to get in where it's safe. So this is the safe place for me to get in because And like things I can stretch this out and until who knows. And mind you, this is a daily chart, so this is multiple days of me not getting the trade, but I have my levels and I'm patiently waiting. Like I'm not chasing the market. I need the market to chase me. Okay. All right, right there. You guys see that? That triggered my entry. Now I'm in the trade. But if this breaks this box, I lose this trade and I'm stopped out. But if it holds and it goes towards my target, then I win the trade. So let it play out. Look, wow. Look at how close. Look at how close it came. Look at how close it came to me losing this trade. And only reason why is because of this box that told me this is the line in the sand. So I managed to put the stop loss a little bit underneath that. So now let's see how this plays out. So, okay. All right, so right there. So we're already out of trade. If anything, my target wasn't big enough. But you know what I can do? While this is happening, I can move my stop loss up and capture as much of this trade. But you got to see, at the end of the day, you want to always risk a small amount to potentially win a big amount. As long as you do that, that's good. So all right, so that's one trade, right? So now we're gonna let it play out, and we're gonna see when we can hop into another trade. Or if anything, you guys can give me a date. I can do this all over again. Um, let's do that. Let's do that. So, anybody want to give me a date or a random date or something?
Hey, how were you able to determine it was 3-1 return?
Oh, so this little thing right here where you get to establish a position, it will tell you. So look, when I put long position because I wanted to go up, I said that I wanted to enter, I think somewhere around here I said, and I want to put my stop. No, I said I want to put my stop loss underneath this box, right? And I said I wanted to enter somewhere inside of this box. I think it was right here. So look, and I said I wanted to target because before it was right here. Remember, it was like right here. So I said I wanted to enter down here, and I said I wanted to target this high, right? So right there, you see the numbers. It tells you risk
Yeah,
reward
yeah. Oh, okay.
3.33. So
Okay,
because look,
cool.
my stop is 0.4, my target is 1.33. So therefore, what I'm risking is 3 times smaller than my target. Make sense?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so you can always do that while the market is happening live. You can just try to hop into some fake trades on the chart and backtest live and see if you're right about what you think is going to happen. And it's really good to do that to keep sharpening your skills and being able to predict how to play off reactions. So let's do another one. I'll erase. I'm gonna erase everything. I'll just erase all my lines. All right. Anybody want to give me a date? You want to give me a date, a time? And then on top of this, when you backtest, pick one stock that you want to keep trading again and again and again. Notice I picked this stock because it's my favorite. And so that's why by trading it again and again and going back in history, I'm going to get better in the present trading it because I know how it moves. So keep that in mind. But give me a date and time. Okay. So remember, first thing you had the eyeball, you had the chart. So anybody got a date and time they want to give me? Random year.
Let's go to January 2023. I mean, where were you at now? You were where?
I was on 2003. I was on
Oh,
January.
wow.
Yeah. What year? You want to go back?
2010.
2010. All right. 2010. And all I did was I hit this little calendar right here. If you're wondering what I did to get here. So what year? I mean, what month? What month?
January.
January. All right. And any day?
Any day's fine.
All right, let's do 13th, January 13th. So now I hit go to, it's gonna go to January 13th. And then I hit this replay button, right? Oh, I have to redo it. Okay. So this is it. So now I hit this replay button, and now I can pick what day in January to do it. So it's January 13th, or right here. So now the chart is synced up to January 13th. Hold on, did I do it right? Hold on, let me do it again. 13, okay, and then replay. Okay, I gotta do the date first. Hold on. So make sure you hit the beginning first. Now, and then check this, make sure the date is in 2010, and then hit the replay button. And then January 13th, right here. So now it's synced up with January 13th. Now when I turn on the eyeball, it's gonna be a new chart. You double click the numbers, brand new chart. You see that? So now, just like you're thrown into any situation, automatically, I'm not gonna say this is necessarily easier, but it's already showing me that this has fallen from a level. Now, so I already know automatically, without even like going any further, I already know this is a key level right here. Already know. Like you guys see why this is a key level right here? Anybody?
Because of what's happening back there where you're at right now.
It was resistance. You see how it was resistance, and then it became support. Look how it was support right here. Then so look right here. It was resistance, right? It couldn't get above this point. It got above it. Then it became the floor, right? Then it became the ceiling again. It broke the floor, became the ceiling. It broke the ceiling, became the floor. You guys see that?
Yeah.
You guys can train your eyes to see this. It's gonna help you know where to get active. But but I want to get the big picture. Even though we just started a downtrend, how long have we been going up for? So I'll go on the monthly chart and then work my way down. So I go on the monthly, look at it. Okay, look at the monthly. So you see, at one point, we're coming off of all-time highs. Like at this point in 2008, it was $130 a share. It fell for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months in a row. Bad to $37 a share. In 6 months, it hit a low of 30. So that was a free fall. So now from this free fall, it's starting to eat it back up. And because it was such a sharp free fall, if there's enough pressure, it could easily eat it back up. So, but now I see that like this consolidation, you gotta mark up your areas. You gotta notice what's going on. You know what I mean? Notice that right here, consolidation. It was the area where price stayed in the range. I'll say it broke out right here, but right in that box, it was a range bound. You know what I mean? It was really in that range. And then I see it broke out. But I also noticed that right here was a level that also broke. So I might make a copy and just draw a line right here because this is a level that we broke. You know what I mean? So you're basically boxing up to see where we really are in the grand scheme of things. So now I'll go to the weekly. And as I keep going into smaller time frames, these lines are going to play out. So now I'm on the weekly, and now you see how these lines are really showing the detail. So now you see that we broke out, and now we're holding above this level on the weekly. You guys see that? So basically, if we go back, we also notice there's a gap right here, and what did we do? We filled that gap. Now, this right here. Let me highlight this right here. I see this right here, and I know that if we start to go up, we can eat up that whole candle. We can eat up that whole candle. Why? Because it doesn't have structure. It's just straight down. Anything that goes straight down can go straight up. Anything that goes straight up can go straight down. It just needs to break a certain point, you know? So right off the bat, I'm like, okay, if we can break this level right where we're at right now, we could break this level, which is based off of this right here. If we break that level, I can easily target either right here to be conservative or just the very top. And those are my targets. You see what I'm saying? So now I would want to enter. I want to enter like around the blue line, around this. Make this blue.
I can hear a lot of background noise.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even hear it. But let me change this
It's
color.
gone now. I think whoever it was muted there.
Thanks for saying something. That's so right here. So I'm thinking if I want to enter, I want to enter at either this green line or even I'll make this orange or something. Even at this line right here, or even at the orange line, because I see the uptrend that we started from December. The uptrend, we're making higher lows, right, and higher highs. So now we filled the gap, right? So we might come back down, fill it the other way, and then shoot back up. Or we might break. So basically 2 scenarios, right? Like I said, you got to have multiple scenarios, right? So for the upside, let's say if we break this, I don't want to if we break it strong enough, I'll get in. But if it's not strong, I won't get in and I'll wait for it to come back. That's one scenario. Okay, let's say we come down. If we come down, I want to see, do we come down and we do this? Because if we do this, we'll probably keep going down. But another scenario, we could even, because I see all this strength and I see this level right here as being really strong, especially right here, I can look for a pullback in here, right? Where we really come back deep in here, but then we bounce up. You know what I mean? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let it play out one more candle before I won't make a decision yet, because it can go either way still. Even though it's leaning towards the up, but I'm gonna wait one more candle before I make a decision. Because remember, you never have to be pressed to go into the market. All right, so now I'm gonna play out one more candle. Let's see what happens. Oh, my fault. I should have went to the daily because it was on the weekly. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the daily now. But as you can see, you seen how this candle was moving because the days were moving within the week, and then this is the new week. So I'm probably gonna have a new outlook. But look, remember what I said though? I wanted it to come down before going up, and it did that on the daily. Like these, because we were right here. If you guys remember, we were right here. I wanted to come down before getting in. So now, guess what happened? I missed my entry. It's not the end of the world. But now, just like I was saying on the weekly, if we break this red, I want to target the next red up. So I go on the daily. I'm like, okay, if we break the red, I still want to target. So we're still consolidating here. So now I could be like, okay, if we come back to this green line again, I may enter. That, why? Because I see us we went up, and guess what are we doing? We're holding this area. We're holding. So we continue to consolidate, continue to hold. Eventually we can break. But we can also break down. So what I'm gonna do, right? Since we're right here, I'll put in, because I missed an entry, I'm gonna put in a trade. I'm gonna put in a position like where I want to get in. So I would want to get in on that green line and risk very little. So in case I'm wrong, right? Let's say, so it's not about getting, it's about getting where it's safe. So in case I'm wrong, I want to get in at this green line, right? But I don't want to risk that much, because let's say we fail. So I'll only risk probably up to here, right? I'll risk up to there. But if we win, I'll go up to there. You know what I mean? Just in case it doesn't go on target. But like I said, if we break this, it can keep going further. So at least I can have the option to perhaps hold it longer or re-enter. But in this scenario, I'm basically, I'll even bring it down here because I see a level right here. Because I see a level right here, I'll base my stop loss off of it, just to give it even more room in case it really wants to go a little bit outside the bounds. So now I'm gonna let it play out and see if it wins. But at the end of the day, this is a good trade. Why? Because I'm risking $90 to make 370. You guys see what I mean? It's a 4-to-1 ratio. I can make 4 times what I'm risking. So I'll take that trade. Why? Because I took all my homework. I seen a scenario. I seen an idea that could play out, and then now I'm gonna define my risk. If I'm wrong, that's okay, because who knows? Maybe it'll bounce off the next level. But when it's ready to do what it's gonna do, I'll be there and I'll be on it. So now let's see what happens. Okay, look at that. It came like right to my level exactly. Wow. So, okay, let's just say by 1 penny, I didn't get stopped out by 1 penny, right? But if it keeps going down, I'm out of there. I'm out of there. You guys see that? Now do you see why stop loss is good for you? You guys see that?
Yeah, I think that was a hit.
Because if I stayed in this trade, it would have been bad for me. So I picked my risk. I was wrong. Done. But if I was right, I would have made potentially multiple times what I risked. And that's how you trade, because you don't know. So okay, so now I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong? Okay, I didn't realize this was actually starting to reverse. I didn't, and how could so one thing I could have done, right? What could have I done differently? This is a learning moment. So I could use this line right here, right? And I could have stopped. And that's the thing, like I seen more of the upside than the downside. So it's like you got to keep it equal. So it's like you can lean to one side, that's fine, because you have a stop loss, but you have to consider a plan for both. So I'll say I didn't consider the downside plan on this time. And that's why I wasn't open to potentially seeing it. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? So now, okay, so now it broke levels. So now what am I waiting for? What would you guys do in this situation? Anybody?
I would wait for it to come down to another zone, possibly, and look for another entry, or
Entry for which side? For which wave?
for the buy side.
So so you rather just wait for the buy?
Or wait for another break of zone, wait for a pull up and a break of zone for another sell entry.
All right, let's talk scenarios. Let's see what can happen from here. First question, is this a safe place to start betting to the downside? Is it safe?
No.
Why not?
It's grabbing liquidity.
It is grabbing liquidity. But also you're not gonna get good prices. You know what I mean? It's already made the move. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like if I bought at this red candle at the top right here, I'm buying at the top, or even at this green candle, I'm buying at the top. I always wanted to pull back a little bit before I get in to try to run it back up from where it came from. You know what I mean? So that's the break and retest. So the break and retest strategy is this. When price breaks off from a level, we want it to come back and retest. So like, for example, like right here, price broke out, right? But guess what it did? It came back and retested that level before shooting back up again. You know what I mean? So same thing when it breaks, you can't really see in this daily candle, but the price came down here and then it came back up and then it shot down. That's the break and retest. So now we broke this level. I want it to come back maybe like test 50% of that. 50%. So I'll put a marker right here, say 50% of this candle. And say like I'll probably use this right here. Yeah. So this way you have candles in the past. So right here. So I'll use 50% of this candle and say we broke out from that level and I want us to come back and retest that level. So now here's what I could do. Like, all right, let's just say I want to play the downside, right? It's about knowing what is the safe way to play both sides. Not saying one side is necessarily right or the other, but knowing how to play both sides in a safe way where you can be wrong, but it doesn't have to cost you that much. short, right? So here's a short position. Notice on the short position, now the green is down and the red is up. So now I can do a thing where I want this to come back, and I'll be even more a little bit more conservative. I'll put my stop loss. Say this, I'll use this line now for the stop loss, right? And let's say I want this to come back and retest at least this half of this candle to keep going down. So this could be a potential scenario, right? But if I do that, my reward has to make sense. So I would have to like target, like say this gap fill. You know what I mean? So now, and let's say like I'll put it probably a little bit above it. But now I want my risk to reward to be at least a 2-to-1. That's the main thing. Like my main thing is I want whatever I'm risking, I want to be able to win at least double. All right, so now we're in a 2-to-1 ratio. I could probably even target this very bottom because I see the strength of the move, and I do expect the pullback. So here's what I do. In order to, so you got to play with your risk and reward to make it more favorable. So even this line is not a bad entry, but in case it goes a little bit higher, I'll do that to lower my risk. So now I have like a 2.6-to-1 ratio. Now I'm risking even less. So I can make 2.5 times what if it hits my entry. So in case you're confused, I want this to come back up, hit this, and then come back down. That's a much safer way to get in, and I'll get a much better discounted price to get in on the puts. All right, so let's play this out. Let's see what happens. You guys see that?
Yep.
That wick triggered me in. Now I'm in the trade. So now let's see what happens the next few days. Let's see if this keeps going down. But do you see why I didn't get in right here? A lot of people make the mistake. Let me get in right here for the sell. It already made this move. The chances of it going back the other way are high because you missed the move. You know what I mean? You guys understand that?
Yeah, I do.
So when you backtest, you're gonna learn you don't have to chase the price because the price will chase you. So let's see what happens now. Look at that. Look at that. Look at how close I came to being stopped out. Look at how close I came to being stopped out. What did I say? I said I'm going to use this structure, but guess what? Everybody else is going to use that structure. And guess what? They know that we're going to use this structure for our stop losses. So I said, let me put it a little bit above that just in case it wicks up. And what did it do? It wicked up, almost wicked me out. So right here, guys, I can already take profit because what would I do? I already entered right here. So I can literally move my entry down. Like let's say I was in this trade still, right? This happened. I would move my stop loss down. So this would come down. This would come down. Now, guess what? I'm in a risk-free trade. I can't lose money anymore. You know what I mean? And by me doing that, I secured a good amount of profit. So now, or basically what I can do, basically I move my stop loss to entry. I move my, you know what I mean? Let's see. So let's see. I'll give a little room. So the other way. Hold on. Move this. Move. So this would be right here, and this would be right here. Okay. Let me do it like this. There we go. So yeah. So my stop loss, because if you guys remember it, I entered like right here, right on the orange line is where I entered. So I'm already deep in profit, right? Now I'm securing my stop loss right here. So now if the market wants to take me out and go up, it can, because I already secured, but I'm giving it this much little bit of room in case it wants to keep going down further. And then as it keeps going down, I'm going to keep moving my stop loss and trail it. And now let's let it play out and see if it hits my final target. So you guys see that? You see that right there? Honestly, right here, seeing that it came down to my target, and furthermore, you guys see this gap right here? Remember I told you I was targeting this gap fill right here? Right here. So it filled that gap fill. So I could already take my profit right here. I don't gotta wait for it to come right here and take my profits. So once I seen this, I probably would just be out, to be honest. Let's just say maybe I'll leave one contract on, one runner in case. I could do that because my stop loss is right here. So let's just say if I did leave one, I would already still be out of the trade. So now, but let's just see if it does come down at all. Let's see. You guys see that? So wow. So you guys see that? So at the end of the day, I'm already out of the trade, to be honest. But if I held it long enough, or better yet, let's say, so here, better yet, right? Look what happened. It came back to my entry. So what could have I done? What could have I done, guys?
Get back in.
Exactly.
Could have did another short, yeah. And
Boom. And guess what? The second time I hit my target. You got to be patient, guys. You got to be patient, but you got to practice. You got to get on the charts and you got to put in the work. You understand? Like, it took me messing up, doing stuff like this, keep trying to buy it up, even though it's showing me signs, hey, we're selling. You know what I mean? Like, why are you being hard-headed? We're selling. You know, you thought we were buying, but we're selling. And that's the only reason why I knew right then and there to switch to the sell. But if I never went through it and I never went on the charts and I seen how it reacted, I wouldn't have known, okay, don't be hard-headed with this one. You know what I mean? So that's why pick your stock, go back in time and practice. Once you practice, now when it comes to present day, you're going to see similar behaviors and you're going to know how to approach it. And that's basically it for today. I'll just let it play out, just see how far this goes. But that's basically it for today. So, and then sometimes you can just watch the candles, you know, just watch them. Because screen time is a real thing, you know? Like watch them for a while and then notice things. What did you notice? Anybody notice anything right here? What did you guys notice?
Gap down.
Yep, but also it stayed in the range. It consolidated, right? Before it gapped down, what did it do? It stayed in the range and then it gapped down. So moving forward, I know once we stay in the range long enough, we're either gonna gap up or we're gonna gap down. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's it for today. I'm just gonna just backtest on my own, but that's all I wanted to show you guys today.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
No problem. I'll let you guys
Appreciate you,
know if
bro.
if I hop back on later. Peace.
Peace, everybody.
All right. Have a good Friday, everybody.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
You too, bro.
Yep. And if you're interested in the recordings, they'll be on Coffee. Hit me up.